Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm Donovan Kovar. Let's start the presentation, gang. We're going to show you how to get started doing voiceovers today, okay, without experience, expensive gear, or a talent agent. So if this presentation is for anyone of any age who wants to do something different, something unique, and using your talents to work from home and to make a difference for people. So if that's you, well, then you've probably come to the right place. And there's a lot of different ways that voice actors are making money today. You know, we're all really familiar with commercials, but there's also narrations, there's e-learning and audiobooks. If you think of Amazon's huge repository of audiobooks in Audible, a voice actor needs to read all of those. There's telephony, that's when you call companies, and there's voicemails. There's like a messaging system. There's voice actors that specialize in that. There's podcasts, there's web videos and audios. There's animation, and you know, there's even volunteering for organizations that you love, like the Humane Society. The internet is really what's made this a completely new game for voice actors, because you can work from literally from anywhere. Excuse me. All right, so a little bit about myself. I'm Donovan Kovar. I'm the founder of VoiceOver Club, and I've been helping people get started doing voiceovers since 2009. I work with other voice talent to produce professional voiceovers for my clients, and I record my own voiceovers for my own business. Before that, though, I was a professional musician. You can see me here. My band and I perform shows for companies like General Mills, as well as a steady stream of high-paying wedding gigs throughout the year. And we use the internet much the same way that voice actors are using it to get gigs. I also owned a small home recording studio like you see pictured here. And I wrote and recorded original songs for the daytime soap opera The Young and the Restless, if you can believe that. So that's a little bit about how my background just kind of dovetails nicely onto the whole voiceover thing. And again, the internet has just been a game changer. So maybe you've tried doing voiceovers in the past and you failed, or you're embarrassed, or you're unsure of yourself. But I want to tell you it's not your fault, okay? You're part of a group we call the vocal novi. And these are people who have God-given vocal abilities, but just haven't learned how to fully engage and express their talents yet. And that's what we're going to show you how to do today. Pretty cool, right? So our goal is really to have you have a paradigm shift within this session and just start seeing things differently, and realize that you're just one voiceover away from being a real voice artist, and that this process is fun. It's something you can do from home. And again, because of the internet. Now, if you stick around to the end, we'll tell you how you can get a free voiceover evaluation. So you won't want to miss this. People love this. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure and stick around. Now, please do me a favor. I know this isn't easy for everybody. Keep calm and close Facebook. Turn your phone off. Turn Skype and email off. Stop twittering. I want the information to really make a difference for you, and it could literally change your life. But the reason I want you to turn these things off is so that you're not tweeting while we're sharing something that could have really made a difference for you. Okay. So that said, what makes this presentation different from everything else in the world of information? Well, one thing for sure is that we have a very special guest with us, a professional voice actor named Amy Weiss. And Amy's done voiceovers for Disney, T-Mobile, Pediasure, MGM Grand, eBay, Goodyear, Allianz, P&G, Johnson & Johnson, AT&T, Tropicana, Gillette, Capital One. I mean, that's just to name a few. So we're really lucky to have with us a real world-class voice actor in our presence, or voiceover artist. So without further ado, would you please join me in giving a large internet round of applause for Miss Amy Weiss. Hi, Amy.
Hey. Hi, Donovan. Hi, everybody.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, great to be here. Great to be here.
It's kind of like when I hear your voice, it's like seeing you for me. So
I know,
yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
You're looking good today.
Yeah, we're getting some clap. I'm looking good today too. Yeah, I am. I feel dandy. So what's going on in the wonderful world of Amy these days? What are you working on?
Oh man, so many different kinds of things. I think that's probably my favorite part about being a full-time voiceover artist. Every week is a little bit different because there's so many different kinds of things to work on. I worked on things that you probably would expect, and then some things you probably might not expect. I did the expected stuff, the commercials for the car dealers and the furniture stores. That's always get to do a little bit of that, which is fun. And then phone prompt for a local hospital. And I did This is a crazy week. I did 36 different video narrations for how to operate washers and dryers for a major appliance company. I was a voice of God for a annual corporate conference, and I did some e-learning modules for special need kids. So
Wow.
a little bit of everything.
Wow. Videos on how to operate washers and dryers.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I got to say on each one, make sure to press the start button. I guess that's a common thing. It's not working.
Wow. Well, that's interesting work. And you mentioned the voice of God. Now, that's not something you hear every day. I'm guessing our listeners are probably wondering, what the heck's that?
Yeah. You know, it's probably a term that you don't know, but probably something that you hear all the time and don't realize it had that cool, nifty little title to it. You know, if you go to an amusement park and you hear from a speaker somewhere, you know, make sure you keep your hands and your feet inside the ride at all times until it's come to a complete stop. Well, that's the voice of God. And, you know, because God is a woman, you're going to hear this female voice everywhere.
Yes,
so,
of course.
And then I do a lot of these annual conferences when people are having these, you know, big meetings and they've got all their company there and they're giving out awards. And it'd be something like, please welcome to the stage, co-founder and CEO of VoiceOver Club, Mr. Donovan Kovar.
I like that when God introduced me like that.
Don't
Very
you feel
cool.
special?
Yeah, very cool. Well, you're doing some really cool stuff, and I think it's an excellent testament to what's available for voice artists out there today. But it wasn't always like that for you. You weren't always a rock star like you are now. You went through a process, right, where you struggled, and can you share a little bit about your story so that people understand your background?
Yeah. I always feel like I want to start with once upon a time, because
little heart music.
because like, okay, you need the dream sequence, because this goes way back. I took the scenic route, I guess. I don't recommend it, but this okay. So this is how it happened for me. You got to go way back into the 1990s. And I was a salesperson at a very prominent radio station here in Cincinnati, which is my hometown. Yay, Cincinnati.
Yeah, go Cincinnati.
Yay. I worked at WGRR in Cincinnati. And we have got to get a better picture than this, Donovan. This place looks like a dump. What is with this picture? It was really nice. I mean, I don't think you're repping Cincinnati really fair here, but that's okay.
WKRP in
that looks like WKRP in Cincinnati. Anyway, I worked for a really nice looking radio station. Thank you. But I was in sales, and I was there when it launched into an oldies format, which was a new thing back in the 90s. And they had no on-air females during the week. They had some part-timers during the weekend, but if a client specifically wanted their spot voiced by a female and it was the middle of the week, they were kind of in dire straits. So I guess my career somewhat began out of someone else's desperation, but that's okay. They knew that I had kind of done theater in high school and college and was a little bit of a ham. So I guess that's why they asked me, "Hey, Amy, what you doing? Can you try and read this script?" And I had nothing to lose because it was not my job. I was a salesperson. So I gave it a try because it sounded like fun, and I loved it. And I was actually pretty good at it. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that there wasn't any pressure, because it didn't matter whether it was good or not. If it wasn't good, they weren't going to use it. But because there was no pressure and I was free to just relax and get into the read, they turned out to be really good. So I did that for them for several years, and that was a really good, entry point into it. But then I had a family. My kids, you can see they're all grown up, but this was once upon a time. So when they were little bitty kids, they were really cute, and I wanted to spend more time with them. So I left the wonderful world of radio behind and stayed home to focus on my kids. But by this point, people around Cincinnati knew that I, quote unquote, did voiceover. And so if they were in a pinch and they needed someone to do a spot, they'd call me in to their studio and I would do a commercial here and there, which was great. It was, pocket money. And and it kept my foot in the door somewhat so that I didn't completely go away from the scene. Okay, so you fast forward all the way to like 2009, and my kids are grown up and they don't need me so much, and I'm really wanting to do something professional again. But I didn't want that whole 8 to 6 grind. I didn't want to have to answer to somebody else. And they were grown up, but they were in the stupid years. My kids were not stupid, but okay, they were teenagers. So I wanted to be able to be,
There
I
you
wanted
go.
to be available.
That's another way of saying the stupid years was for teenagers.
I wanted to be available. So I didn't want to commit to, the traditional type of job. So, okay, so voiceover seemed like a natural fit. I could work from home. I, could work on it when I had the time. But here's the thing. My only experience doing voiceover was walking into a studio and speaking my lines and leaving. And now I'm at home and I have to figure out how to generate the audio file and deliver the lines. So that little picture there looks a lot like my first, people call it a studio. Okay, it was a home office with a microphone plugged into the computer. It was a very cheap little Sony USB microphone that for some reason we had. I still don't know why we had it, but we did. And it was meant to be because it was good enough. And that's how I got started. I did a lot of, hit or miss, a lot of hit or miss research on the internet, time sucking, down the rabbit hole research of how do you do this? And bit by bit taught myself how to produce audio files on a free software program that we'll mention later called Audacity. I taught myself. And one of the things that I did that I would really encourage you guys to do, it really helps to practice with your voice while you're really helping somebody else out. In my market, we have the Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and they actually have their own radio station where they have volunteers come in and read magazines and newspapers and what have you to people who cannot see to read that to themselves. Great organization, great way to help, and great way to get experience in front of a microphone. And also because you're not just on your own, you get feedback from people. And that, there might not be something exactly like this where you live, but I bet there's somebody out there who needs your voice. And it's a great way to practice while you're helping somebody else. So I did that. I was there once a week for 6 years, and it was great experience. But I mentioned I wanted to get paid for this, and volunteer work is awesome and important, but it doesn't pay. And so this little guy illustrates my career at that time. It was, every now and then even a blind squirrel finds a nut. And that was really how I was getting jobs. Every now and then I'd get a job, and it would validate the fact that, yeah, I can do this. I'm supposed to do this. And it would keep me, up and encouraged. And I would just keep trying and trying and trying. But the jobs were few and far between. And I couldn't gain traction. I was like, what am I supposed to do? How do you do this? I needed what we call now a success roadmap. I was at point A. I felt in my heart, in my gut, that gut feeling like I'm supposed to do this. I know I can do this, but I don't know how to do this. And I don't know how to get from where I am now, which is nowhere, to being able to make this my job, my career, my passion, and make a really good living at it. That was the goal. I had no plan. I was just kind of making it up as I went along, which is the point of this story. Is it's not a good way to do it. I mean, eventually I was so frustrated. I reached out to somebody who I had connected with on Facebook, who I knew was in New York and was doing this and killing it. And I finally was like, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing. And at that point, he started helping me, and I connected and was able to develop a plan. And so this is very much the long way around. But then I got to the point where I lived happily ever after. And that's my story.
That was awesome. I think you mentioned you were going to do that once a long time ago. And you finally did it. And it was just so good. Lived happily ever after. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing your story with me, us. The thing that I want everybody to get here is that Amy hit that wall that everybody seems to, experience, but she got help. And it was when she got help and she let somebody else contribute to her and show her the way, then the doors started to open. And she, like she said, she's just been successful. So it's a great takeaway. And I want to make sure all of you understand, Amy discovered this the hard way, but you get to cheat and learn it the easy way. And that's what you get in exchange for being here today. So the hard way is, starting off by buying expensive gear or copying what everybody else is doing or trying to cut your own demo or just generally winging it, which we don't want you to do because that leads to just no success. We're going to show you how to deliver a professional voiceover that clients will pay you for. Okay? So if that's what you're interested in, then you've come to the right place. Now, over the past 9 years, we've shown hundreds of voice artists how to build their voiceover business and successfully work from home. This has worked for young people who are still in school. It's worked for adults looking to earn more money online. And it's worked for retirees who want a new career path. So if that's you, well, then awesome. Now, before we go any further, Sal, our cartoon attorney, has requested to read a earnings disclaimer. Go ahead, Sal. Although some voice actors are making millions of dollars and others make tens of thousands, most only earn extra money doing voiceovers, and some do not make any money. Your results may vary. All right, Sal, thank you for that. So before we jump into this here, I'm going to tell you, wait a minute. I think I skipped the whole thing here. There we go. Normally, when you start learning something new, it's normal to take a few lessons. When I was learning to play guitar, I took lessons. When I was learning to play piano, I took lessons. I took voice lessons. When I was learning to draw a while ago, I took some drawing lessons. Golf is a wonderful example. You wouldn't typically go out and try to golf 9 or 18 holes of golf without some lessons. And I know that this because I did it when I was a kid, and it's just me hitting grass and embarrassing myself. So in exchange for your time today, what we're going to do is give you a few lessons. And I like to think of them as our 3 voiceover secrets. And secret number 1 is, again, how to start recording your own voiceovers today without any fancy equipment, no expensive equipment or a expensive microphone. We're going to teach you secret number 2 is how to think like a voice actor. And believe it or not, your mindset has a huge part to being a success in this field. And we're going to be sharing with you the most important tips for unlocking your hidden talents within this mindset. And secret number 3 is how to find your own unique voice. Yes, you have your own unique sound. And once you find it, you'll be on your way to sharing it with the world. Okay? So let's jump right into voiceover secret number 1, how to start recording yourself. Everybody has a built-in recorder these days. You've got it on your iPhone, your Android device. You've got it on your iPad. You got it on your laptop. There's even this cool online app called Online Voice Recorder. And it's just online-voice-recorder.com. And all you got to do is open up one of these things. Open up one of these recording apps. There's just tons of apps. Go to the iPhone store or whatever it is and just download something or just look for it. You have it built in. Then you want to just, next step is just find a script. And any script will do, basically. I did a handout. If you look in the top of your webinar, there should be a handout, a PDF of some scripts. And I'll show you on our website. You could go to VoiceOverClub.com. And there's a tab right here called VoiceOver Scripts where you can just grab a script. There's just all kinds of scripts. It really doesn't matter what you grab. Then what you do is you just turn on the recorder. You just press record, and I'm gonna do an example read. Okay, right here. Here we go. Online voice recorder. Our voice recorder is a convenient and simple online tool that can be used right in your browser. It allows you to record your voice using a microphone and save it as an MP3 file. Look at that. I'm gonna play it back. Online voice recorder. Our voice recorder is a convenient and simple online tool that can be used right in your browser. It allows you to record your voice using a microphone and save it as an MP3 file. How cool is that? I mean, do you see how cool that is? I just cut a voiceover. That's it. I'm going to do another one. I'm not going to save this one. I'm just going to do another one. You could save it. And what I'd like you to do is, listen back to it and see if you could do it better, do another take. But I'm just going to do another example here, just as an example of quickly. Free to use. Voice recorder is completely free. No hidden payments, activation fees, or activation fees or charges for extra features. All right, cool. So if I was working with an editor, I could cut that part out that I did wrong. Free to use. Voice recorder is completely free. No hidden payments, activation fees, or activation fees or charges for extra features. You see how I just picked up where I left off, where I made a mistake? That's the beauty of digital editing. In an editor, you could just cut this part out that didn't work. But that's basically it. I'm recording voiceovers, and you could be doing this, and we actually want you to start doing it. You don't need to use online voice recorder. You can just use your built-in microphone on your phone or your laptop. But the important thing is that you do this, and you just do it over and over again, and you start listening back to yourself, okay? And you'll start to you start to hear yourself differently. And that's basically doing voiceovers. I mean, this is the essence of it.
Hey, Donovan, can I chime in real quick?
Sure.
Because the first time I heard this, I kind of was like, okay, Captain Obvious, I record myself. Okay. And so I don't want you guys to hear that and be like, this was a secret. This is no secret, because there's a lot to this, actually. Here's the thing. If you've ever recorded your voicemail, and I think anybody who's ever done this has almost the same reaction. You play it back and you're like, is that what I sound like? Do I really sound like that? And because there is a disconnect between what you sound like in your head and what you sound like when you're recorded. So like your recorded self sounds really different than what you hear in your head. The reason why this is so important is that you have to be able to train yourself to know that what it sounds like in your head, how that's going to translate when it's recorded. And it is actually a skill set. Try it and you'll see, like, you'll be like, that's not what it sounded like when I was doing it in my head. Right. It's very different. Yeah. And the more you get comfortable with what you sound like when you're recorded, the more confidence you get. Mm-hmm. And the more you know what your voice can do and what you want to emphasize and what you want to de-emphasize. So there's a lot more to this than meets the eye or meets the ear, as you will. So that's my 2 cents. It's a great point. Your recorded voice is something that's very an important thing. It's a new distinction. So write that down if you're taking notes. And remember, get familiar with your recorded voice. That's part of doing voiceovers. So thank you, Amy. Mm-hmm. So there it is. I mean, I want you guys to start doing this today. Just start doing it. Don't think about it too much. We used to have to use these cassette recorders and boom boxes, what would crunch up the tapes inside of the machine and everything. But we're really fortunate. We have new technology and, MP3s, and we have this digital recording that didn't exist back then, which is everywhere. So take advantage of it, guys. Now, Aim, when you were starting out, you kind of had to start off goofing around at the mic like this. But you did it inside of a studio. You were like a baby voice actor here. Tell us a little bit more about what that looked like in real life. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that baby is so cute. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I like that baby. The Amy baby. No, that's a boy, please. Is it? Oh yeah. That looks the same to me. I don't know. That is a boy baby for sure. Okay, but I digress. I see a baby and I digress. Yeah. Okay. So I had so much fun back in the day when I would go into the studio. For me, it was like a kid being told it's recess time. I had to stop my boring schoolwork and go play. Again, like I said before, this wasn't my job. I didn't get paid for this, but it was fine because it was, turned out to be the foundation of what turned into something great for me. But I think because it wasn't my job, I wasn't getting paid, there wasn't any pressure, I just had a really good time. And I would, pretty much just go back there and they'd give me the script and I'd read it. And the production director used to call me One Take Weiss because I would get it done real fast. And then I'd be really sad because I'd be like, oh, I got to go back to work. But they knew that I enjoyed being in the studio. And so they would start doing a little bit more creative things and skits and not just a straight read type of thing. And I mean, they even got to the point where this was so goofy. In sales, you always have to get more from your client. Always. Every year, it's more. So it wasn't my client, but someone else was going to be renewing an annual contract, and they were raising rates and they were asking for money. And we really need to schmooze this guy. And it happened to be his birthday. And so they're like, hey, Amy, hey, what you doing? Which is always the, what do you want? And they're like, you know how Marilyn Monroe sang happy birthday to the president? Could you do something like that? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, would you try? I'm like, yeah, I'd try. So we did that. And I'm pretty sure they got the order too. I don't think I ever got.
Hey, Amy?
Uh-oh.
Hey. Would you mind doing that? The Marilyn Monroe imitation for us?
Yeah, of course. If I can stop laughing. Okay.
All right.
Stop that.
I'm having a good time. Oh, crap.
Behave.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donovan. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, man. Oh, is it? I feel funny.
You big goofball.
Hot in here. I don't know what's going. Something's happening. Anyway, thank you, guys. Guys and girls, all of you probably felt something neat in your brain when she did that. Right there, some kind of like, this is an interesting flavor. It's similar, like if you saw your brain under an MRI scan, it'd be like, peanut butter and jelly would light up over here. Warm water would light up this part of your brain, and then Amy doing that thing lights up a particular part of your brain. We'll talk about brain chemistry in a bit, but that's something a voice actor can do, can turn on and off and create brain chemistry. And that's something that's super important. It was a great demonstration, and that's why I asked her to do it, not because it's super sexy. Anyway, thank you, Amy. Now, what I want everybody to get is that great voice acting starts by goofing around with the mic. Okay? Everybody, all the best voice actors I know started off just goofing around, just like Amy was just doing. We're just having fun. And Terry Daniel, one of the founders of VoiceOver Club, we went to high school together. He was just he got kicked out of high school because just for being the class clown. He couldn't stop himself from just goofing around. And the more you can get in the mindset of doing that, you just goofing around at the mic, the better, right? The sooner it's going to work for you. And so hopefully this is a thought process that really makes a difference for you. Okay, guys, because don't dismiss it. It's part of the process of getting your voice out, is goofing around. Now, I'm going to talk about thinking like a voice actor. All right. Secret number 2 is how to think like a voice actor. The more you do this, the more you get used to your recorded voice, and you're goofing around at the mic, and you're getting used to your recorded voice, and you're goofing around at the mic, and you're getting used to your recorded voice. You're going to start, and you're going to starting to think of your voice as a tool. It's going to start to occur to you as an instrument. Just like when I was learning to play the guitar or the piano, after a while, you start, or you sing a lot, you start feeling your voice as an instrument. And that it becomes easier at that point to start saying, I want to practice a little bit more. I want to master this. I want to get a little bit better. I want to go to the next level. I want to be a better golfer, a better tennis player, a better singer, better pianist. I want to draw the next thing. That's what starts to happen with your voice. And these skills are something you can't buy, right? You got to earn them, but it's a fun thing, and it's not as painful as trying to learn the guitar. My fingers used to bleed learning the guitar. It's not as expensive as learning an instrument, because you don't need a big fancy thing. So hopefully this really helps you guys. It's part of the thought process you want to have as you go down this path. I remember studying yoga a number of years ago, and there's this system within yoga called the chakras. And there are areas of human consciousness, like the heart is for emotion and love. The throat represents full self-expression. Your inner voice. And so what doing this process does is it starts to awaken that area of consciousness in your fifth chakra. And it's just this is one esoteric way of looking at it that I used when I was a singer that helped me really kind of open that up and realize how to become more self-expressive. So hopefully this guides you down that path. All right, this path. Now I mentioned that, when Amy did that thing that, there's something about the brain chemistry in a voiceover. Advertisers pay for emotion to be infused into a script. That's what voice actors do, is there's some kind of an emotion that's infused into that read. And people buy based on emotion. But we justify our purchases based on logic, but we come to the conclusion we want to buy that Subaru because it's about putting a little love in your heart, right? And then you justify it, well, it gets great gas mileage and it's, only this much per month. It's safe, it's got 4-wheel drive. So as a voice actor, we want to be able to infuse these emotions into the script. And mostly it's happy and excited, but sometimes it's sad if you were doing something for the Animal Humane Society, or angry if you're doing a political ad, right? That's what you got to be able to do and provide. And that's what gives people the value in exchange for the money they pay you. And the way that voice actors do this, one of the most effective ways is the mastery of inflection. And inflection is where you place the emphasis within a sentence on a particular word. And simply placing the emphasis on different words can literally change the meaning of that sentence. It's really an interesting thing. So I thought Amy and I could do a demonstration here for you of what inflection does to a script. We'll just take this one sentence as an example. I'll read it flat. I did not say that I ate those cookies. You see, I didn't really place any inflection on anything. So I'm going to ask Amy to do that. She's going to place inflection on these words and we'll see how the meaning changes. Okay?
Okay.
Sound okay? And all right.
Okay.
At your command.
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
All right. Somebody said it though, right? That's what's inferred.
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
Okay.
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
Emphatically no, right?
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
But she was thinking it, right?
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
Okay.
I did not say that I ate those cookies.
Right. But somebody did.
I bet Donovan ate those cookies.
At 11 o'clock at night.
You know it. I did not say that I ate those cookies.
She whipped them at me.
Duck.
Yeah.
I would not waste a cookie.
My wife, you'd be surprised some of the
She's
things.
whipped a cookie at you. Okay.
Right.
I don't live with you, so. I did not say that I ate those cookies.
She ate some cookies.
No doubt. I did not say that I ate those cookies.
Oh, but she ate something.
That empty box of chocolate behind you.
That's my girl.
Hmm.
High five. All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, you guys see how much of a difference it makes where you place that inflection? Imagine doing this over, multiple paragraphs. How much you can tune that message for that client. And that's what really makes this a great, art, is just being able to do that. Let me open up another script here and we'll do another demonstration of how a voice actor can really bring this script to life. I'm going to read this script here as somebody who just doesn't have any experience doing voiceovers. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, but it demonstrates the contrast between somebody who knows this stuff and who doesn't. I'll just do this read. Snap it, style it, send it. Now you can shoot pics right from your wireless phone. Give them your own flair by adding sound and text. Then fire them off to everyone, It's fun. It's easy, and it's just what you'd expect from the nation's largest, most reliable wireless network. Okay, so it's just a bland read, right? It's just kind of amateurish. I could work at that and try to do it better. But if, companies will often do this, they'll have their their secretary do the read, or their assistant, or the boss will just do it, and it'll just come off terrible, right? And then, if they're wise, they realize, hey, we really should get somebody who knows what they're doing to do this and pay them. And so that's at this point, we bring in professional voiceover actor, Amy Weiss. And so I'm going to ask Amy to interpret this script as she would if we were to, go in the studio and to record it. If you would, please, Amy.
Okie dokie. Snap it, style it, send it. Now you can shoot pics right from your wireless phone. Give them your own flair by adding sound and text, then fire them off to everyone you know. It's fun, it's easy, and it's just what you'd expect from the nation's largest, most reliable wireless network.
Oh man, it's like butter and sugar melted in the kettle. It's so good. Like your check, here's your check, like, thank you. Thank you. One take Weiss.
Usually.
Bam.
Not always, but yeah, usually.
Pretty cool. So you see the difference there, gang? You see the difference? You see how much value is infused in that script for the person who's trying to sell this product? As the producer, I'm going to ask you to do one more take for me. I think we got it in can, as we'd say in the industry, from the 90s, or the 80s and 90s. That's because we used to put the audio tape, which was a big old audio tape. We put it into a metal can, and that's where it was stored. So anyway, we're going to do another take, and I'm going to say, let's pretend that you're 20-something, early 20s in college, and we're going to do a little faster pace because we may want to play this in a different market with some, high pumping music, and the client would like a different version of it. So please give me that second take.
Okay.
Thank you.
Snap it, style it, send it. Now you can shoot pics right from your wireless phone. Give them your own flair by adding sound and text, then fire them off to everyone you know. It's fun, it's easy, and it's just what you'd expect from the nation's largest, most reliable wireless network.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right. That's a wrap. Now, Amy's a child of the 80s, like me. So, I hope you don't mind me saying that, sister, but
that's all right. It is what it is.
That's right. And you can hear, like, there's no problem being a 20-something, right? She can play that role. She's a great actress. So it's the same with you guys. It's like, it doesn't matter where you're at. You put on an act, you're an actor. Very good. So, I like that. All right, let's keep growing here. We got more to cover. I'll get back to my presentation. Thank you. All right, so through this process, all right, your own unique money-making sound begins to emerge. I'll say it again. It's through this process that your own unique money-making sound will begin to emerge. It's like polishing a rough diamond. The more you polish it, the more valuable it becomes. And it's like a secret, but it's not. Like, it's Captain Obvious again, right? But you need to have this mindset. It's super important because that's what makes a difference. And so again, what we covered is how to start recording yourself right now without any experience, expensive equipment, or fancy microphone. Start doing that today, guys. Number 2, how to think like a voice actor, right? Your mindset has a huge part to being success at this. And that's what we want you to start doing, is activating that. And then finding your own unique voice through this practice of, working your voice and working with it and honing it. Very good. Cool stuff. Hope you guys are getting this. Now, here's the voiceover success cycle. I'll move into this real quick. This is super helpful. Take down some notes if you want, right? Because you want to remember this. We found that voice actors who are successful follow the voiceover success cycle. It starts by taking some lessons, then getting coaching, then doing the demo and auditioning, then you get the gigs, and then you make the money. And it doesn't go outside of this. It doesn't, like, I'll make the money and then I'll get some coaching, right? Or I'll do my demo and then I'll audition and then I'll take some lessons. It doesn't work outside of this circle. It goes in this motion, all right? We'll talk about each of these steps. Taking lessons, it's what you're doing right now, okay? Now, if you think of that movie, The Matrix, from the 90s, 1999, I see it on TV all the time. I really like it. But the star was Neo, and he's placed into the Matrix into training programs. They just plugged training programs into him. It was one of the first things they did. So when his coach came to him and said, after 10 hours of training, he said, "How's it going?" He says, "I know Kung Fu." You remember that? Well, the thing is with this voiceover thing, you want to learn voiceover Kung Fu. Okay, it's the same deal. You want to learn voiceover Kung Fu so that you can play in the Matrix, which is the internet. It's a way of saying the internet, right? Learning voiceover Kung Fu is part of your first step in the voiceover success cycle. And then you get some coaching, and it's kind of like in the Matrix. His coach said to him, "Show me," right? So they went and they fought doing kung fu and all that. But we'll talk a little bit about coaching. Amy, you're doing some coaching. You're helping, noobs with getting started, right?
Yes, yes, I am. Noobs.
You've got a coach. So, coaching is, athletes get coaching. I mean, we hear about that all the time. There are people who coach in business. I get coaching in business. There are people who get coaching, they coach musicians and people who, coach for all kinds of things, life coaches. It's important. Can you talk about how it plays into the voiceover thing?
Yeah, sure. I have a coach, and I think the most beneficial part of having a coach in voiceover is that for most of the time, we work on our own in isolation. And a lot of times very little direction is given to you. So you have to work to try and basically read people's minds to be able to give them what they want. And you're on the right track, and you're doing a good job when you get booked, and something's off if you're not getting booked. But in between those two extremes, to be able to grow and to be able to get better and better at the craft, having a coach is like having an extra set of ears that are tuned into things that you don't even realize you're doing.
Regional accents.
Yeah,
right?
regional accents. If you are constantly emphasizing the wrong thing, or I have a tendency, my coach says, less Glenda the Good Witch. I have a tendency
I get that.
make my
I
reads
totally
too
get that.
happy. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. My teeth hurt. So
Glenda the Good Witch.
and I don't hear those things. I think it sounds fine, but so I have to dial that down and really, really be aware of those things. And everybody has their things that they just do not hear.
I'm from Minnesota, and in Minnesota we have this Minnesotan accent. Growing up, I didn't know. Yeah, sure. And I couldn't do that. You can't be like, hey, let's get some coffee and donuts and go to the Gophers game. We had these guys come to fix our bathroom yesterday, and they talked like that. It was like, oh yeah, let's put that pipe back in the thing there. Yeah, thank you, sir. It's going good. I'm like, wow, that is that Minnesota accent for sure. And I'm like, you can't do a voiceover like that unless you're doing it for up at the cabin, the cabin radio. So that would be something a coach would work with me on to make sure I wasn't doing. Right?
Yes.
Very good. So coaching, that's where it plays now. I want you guys to realize this here, okay? There's a saying that when the student's ready, the master will appear. Okay, so you want to get some training first before you go seeking out a coach. Don't put the cart before the horse. Put first things first, get some training first, and then the coaching thing will come, but I don't want anybody to stress about it. And then you work on your demo, and the coach will usually help you to some extent because they're going to help you kind of realize the kind of demo you want to do that's best for your voice. That's where you start auditioning from, is once you have that demo in place. And that'll give you the confidence to go out and promote yourself effectively. And it's when you start auditioning, then people will hire you. If you're doing it correctly, people will give you gigs. They'll say, oh, great, we want you to do this. You'll do the gig, you'll send them an MP3 file. They'll say, great. And then you'll make the money. And that's how it works. And it's providing the value in exchange for the money. You do the work, but you provide that value that other people, can't do for themselves. Hopefully this helps. I hope this makes big sense for you. Now let's talk about microphones. Okay. You don't need any kind of microphone to start right now. You just use your built-in microphone. Amy started with a cheap microphone they had around the house. The next step up are these condenser USB microphones, and they're between $100 and $300. I bought the black one, the AT2020. I bought it on Amazon. I'm using it right now. I like it. Works just fine for me. It's tough. Plug it into my computer, and I use it with open source recording software, which I'll talk about later. And it's good enough for the voiceovers I need to do. You can invest in one of these, and when you're ready, and that'll be the first step without having to break the bank. Okay. Easy to find. There's lots of different microphones. They're kind of like shoes. You try on different ones and figure out what you like. Start with what you're interested in. Amy, let's talk about our mics. Okay.
Sure.
I got a pointer here. This was the one that you started out with, the one in the lower right.
Yeah, it looks like a cute little dinky stand there. Yeah, it was a Sony USB plug-in mic. It was pretty cheap.
It looks cheap.
But I'm pretty sure you hired me when I was using that. So
Isn't that interesting? So, I
yeah.
mean, that's how our relationship started. I hired her several years ago when
Hmm.
she was just getting back into things. So, it's like, I love your voiceovers. I love them. And I didn't really think about the microphone because it was like she just did good voiceovers. They just got better over time. Then the next one you got was like this, right?
Yeah, isn't that cool? It looks like Hollywood. It's an MXL V67, and it was about $250. Just kind of, elevated the quality of the sound a little bit as my career progressed and I could get better equipment, I did. And now I have the one. Oh, circle it for me. Yeah, it's a Neumann. It's a TLL.
TLM.
TLM. I have this mental block against what the microphone is. TLM 102.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had the TLM 103, I think.
Yeah, Neumann is like a
High end.
it's a Jaguar of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
really
she
good
worked her
mic.
way up to that, right? You
Yeah,
didn't start off
absolutely.
like that. She got gigs and she got working on the other aspects of her business,
Mhm.
and then she collected the newer microphones and upgraded. And when you get into these higher end microphones, they're like $1,000 and up, and you need a preamp for them,
Mhm.
which is another $500 to $2,000. But that's something you work into, and it's really you don't got to go too far with it. In fact, there's a term called gear lust that I really want to warn everybody about, because as a musician and a studio producer, I was, and you guys, we were all subject to this, like, oh, if I could just get that new plugin, that Pro Tools plugin, oh man, it's going to be so cool. Or that new guitar pedal, that new thing, then everybody's going to love me, right? It's not about that. It's about doing really well with what you have and then graduating up from that. Don't spend money on things that, just make you feel better, because there's been a lot of hit records recorded with cheap microphones because they put good music on it. And I'd rather pay for a great voiceover on a mediocre microphone than a piece of crap that's recorded really well with a expensive microphone, because it's still a good recording of a piece of crap. So keep that in mind, gang. It's a good lesson for everybody, that just to remember, gear is nice, but it's not the most important thing. So this is me back in the day when I was a professional musician. I mentioned that at the beginning here, and I used to write and produce songs for the daytime soap opera The Young and the Restless in my home recording studio. And so we were playing gigs with my band. Like I said, we'd go out and get paid and get free beer, and it was great. But before that band, I was wondering, how do I start a band? It was like, at one point there was my story of like, how do I get this going? I really want to do this. This is my dream, and I don't know how to do it. So in my stupid logic back in my 20s, I said to myself, well, first things first would be, I need a van, because you got to have a van to put all the gear in. So I bought a van. I spent all my savings on a van that looked just like this. It was used. And I drove that to my restaurant gig every day for a couple of weeks. And people would say, hey, what's up with the van? And I'd be like, I do the rock and roll symbol. It's for my band, man. And I would drive around excited at 6 miles to the gallon. And after a couple of weeks, the novelty of that wore off, and I realized I wasn't in a band yet. And so I parked it at the back of our driveway. There it sat for a year, dripping oil, and I ultimately sold it at a loss. Still didn't have a band. And it wasn't until I got smart and I started really realizing that I had to start with the basics. It was like, I need to learn songs. I need to learn what do people pay for? What are they paying for as a musician? They're paying to be entertained. They're not paying for me just to show up with gear in a van. They need me to be able to entertain people for several hours. So I hunkered down and I learned 50 songs, and I was able to play for, over 4 hours. And then gradually I collected a small PA and I put it in the trunk of my car, and that was enough. And I was able to start getting a foothold that way as a musician. And it ultimately went on to having, a guy who drove the van for me and put lights in there and everything. So the important thing I want everybody to understand is put first things first. If you put the cart before the horse, like the saying goes, you're going to struggle and bang into it, and things aren't going to go right. So hopefully this orients you in a way that really makes a difference. Okay, start thinking correctly. That's the paradigm shift, part of the paradigm shift. Another question we get a lot that people want to know is, do I need an agent to start getting gigs? Amy, how many agents do you have now?
I have 5 agents across the country.
Wow. 5.
What?
You must get a ton of work from them, huh?
Well, that's probably the perception, but that is most definitely not the reality. I probably get 1 to 2% of my overall business through agents.
Wow,
Yeah.
1 to 2%. Okay, so I think the big takeaway here, guys, is you do not need an agent to
Mm-mm.
get gigs.
Now, the benefit of having an agent is at some point you get to a level where you are qualified to compete for, the really big national jobs. And even at that point, getting those is almost like winning the lottery. So, because the competition is strong. So that gives you the opportunity to do that. But otherwise, if I relied on my agents, to get me work, that's just not how it works anymore. And I would starve. So I gotta hustle and get my own clients.
Yep, hustle. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to know it's about hustling. Do the hustle, get out there and get gigs. Yep, you go, girl. Go. I still listen to that on Pandora all the time. So that's the key. Don't wait for an agent. I think it's one of those things. Once you start building your voiceover business yourself, you'll be more attractive to agents because you're already established. And so it's icing on the cake.
Right.
It's not the cake. Now, how do I get gigs in my market? And people wonder this. I'm in Georgia, or I'm in Seattle, or I'm in California or New York. How do I get gigs here? Well, we really want to think in terms of being a universal voice artist, because the internet has just changed the game. Amy, preach.
Okay, let me preach this because I'm in beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio. I love Cincinnati, and the amount of business I get in my market is it's really tiny. People, will find out what I do for a living. Oh, where have I heard you? And I'm like, let's see, what do I have in Cincinnati? Because I do stuff for people all over the world. I'm all over the country: Canada, Mexico, Chile, England, Israel, China.
Wow.
Iceland.
China.
I mean,
Iceland, yeah.
Really obscure, interesting places, because a lot of people want English voiceovers all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So limiting yourself to my market, that's just very limiting.
Yeah. So you're a universal voice artist.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And it makes the internet has really just changed the game. So an MP3 can be sent via email around the world in, a couple seconds. So it's pretty cool. All right. Well, I think I've got more presentation here. I want to show you some more stuff, but I want to stop and see if there's any unanswered questions at this point. I'm going to, I'll read a few things. Like Valentina says, I have an accent. I've worked on my speech to minimize it, but I still have it. What are the possibilities to get voiceover gigs with an accent? Well, it depends. Like if, people who have British accents, they get a lot of work in the US, right? That type of accent works really well. It depends on what market you're in. People are going to want a different kind of accent for different markets. So there's certainly, that's a possibility, right? Roderick says, I'm in Orlando. Let's see here. Any other questions, guys, right now that we haven't touched on? Otherwise, I have more presentation here. If there's anything really pressing for you that you haven't heard yet. All right, so that's fine. I think over the past hour, I think you'd agree this has been time well spent, right? We just can't cover everything in an hour webinar, even if we had all day, right? But I've made a very special offer for you so you can get everything you need to know. So I want to know if it's okay with you guys if I show you the rest of this presentation, because I want to show you what VoiceOver Club is and how it dovetails onto what we've been talking about here. So if you would, type in the box yes if you want to see the rest of this, because I got a lot of cool stuff to show you. Beth says yes. All right, Virginia, yes. Yael, yes. Valentina, yes. Mike, yes. Dorothy, yes. Daryl, yes. Matt, yes. Lavartrus Robinson. All right. Yes. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. All right, guys. I'm glad. Thank you. I appreciate that support. Listen, VoiceOver Club is the ultimate training program for voice actors. Okay. All right. If you hadn't figured that out yet, we have a members area with over 100 and we've got 80 videos, audios, and downloads. Okay. Over 80 videos, not 100, but 80. Okay. Which is still a lot. And it's basically designed to show you all the aspects we've been talking about, okay? And I've got a special page for you to sign up at. But I'm going to show you what is in there. It's basically a training module with videos, all right? And you go in and it's organized really nicely. It's like getting started, and then it goes into, you know, the modules, and you watch the videos and listen to the examples, and it guides you through this process. So I'm going to talk about what that process is, but what we want to give you guys is just 7 days of free access. It's just like an extension of this webinar. You know, we've come this far, and you're kind of getting a picture of like, oh, this is what it takes to actually make money doing voiceovers. The webinar, you know, this is a natural extension of that, so that you can just kind of keep moving and see if this is something you want to pursue. So we're going to give you 7 days free, and I'm going to show you now what you get when you try VoiceOver Club. Module number 1 is all about script delivery. It's how to approach and deliver a script and interpret it, like we talked about, using inflection. And it's a $97 value. Module number 2 is all about recording. You know, it's like Amy talked about when she was getting started, needing to learn how to record herself. The module number 2 will show you that step by step. That's a $97 value. Module number 3 is all about auditioning. And this is the part where it comes to time to go out and you know, hustle for gigs. We're going to show you how and what to do, you know, professional ways to approach that. So that's a $97 value. And then there's module 4. We didn't talk a lot about marketing, but this is about how to promote yourself. And this is a really important part of any business. So the marketing module is something you can really depend on as well to help you with your career. It's a $97 value. And then module number 5 is the making money module. And this is like things like how to invoice clients and how to negotiate your rates. Important things that you may not have thought of that you need when it comes time to make money as the voiceover artist in a business. Okay, so that's a $97 value. And then, you know, when you try this, basically what it does is you're going down a particular path, and you may or may not have good habits, but you certainly have bad habits. And this basically helps you to start breaking old habits. And it's a real simple process just by, you know, watching the videos and listening to the examples. So what you get when you try VoiceOver Club today is module number 1, script delivery, $97 value. Module number 2, recording. It's a $97 value. Module number 3 is auditioning. That's a $97 value. Module number 4, marketing yourself. It's a $97 value. And module number 5 is making money. That's a $97 value. It's a total value of $485. You get it absolutely free for 7 days. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But here's a case study of one of our members, Jack P. Norris. And Jack had no previous voiceover experience. He joined VoiceOver Club. He followed our steps. He's already booked 2 paying gigs. Now, this is a couple years ago I talked to Jack. He's booked a lot more gigs than that. But, you know, I know for sure he booked, you know, 2 paying gigs. So how cool is that? Imagine you know, what it's going to feel like for you when you start booking gigs. Here's another voice actor named James Cummings, and he had no previous voiceover experience. He joined VoiceOver Club. He studied script interpretation and marketing, and he's already recorded a book on Audible. How great is that, right? Can you imagine telling your family and friends, yeah, I'm recording books on Audible, right? Very impressive. So these are things that actually work for people who have no previous voiceover experience, and you can do it too. We're going to give you a free bonus as well today just for trying VoiceOver Club. It's called How to Record Voiceovers from Your Home Computer. And it's a $29 value. You can download it and keep it. And it'll show you how and where to download Audacity, which is an open source recording software. It's what both Amy and I used. She used it when she was starting out. I use it still to this day. It'll go on your Mac or your PC. It's really great. And so this book will show you how to install it and how to use it. And you get that free just for trying VoiceOver Club. So again, what you're going to get today when you sign up, and I'll show you here, basically all you got to do, and I'm going to put this link into, I got to put this link in here so you guys can get to it. All right. There, I put it in the chat box window. If you click on that, it'll take you to this special page. And you can see there's a countdown timer here. And this is just because you guys are special. Only you get access to this page, all right? Other people won't see it. All you got to do is click here, enter your name, your email, and a credit card. We won't charge your credit card, okay? It's just to hold your position in the members area. And you get full access to the members area. And you can see here, these are all of our instructors. We got over 100 years worth of training, you know, these experience. These people are experts in the field that work, you know, full-time as voice actors. They've provided all the training inside there. And, you know, you can go in and just check it out yourself. All right. It's completely free for 7 days. And it's just an extension of this webinar because you guys are great for being here. So again, what you get when you try VoiceOver Club today is access to module number 1, script delivery, module number 2, recording, module number 3, auditioning, Module number 4, marketing yourself. Module number 5, making money. And bonus number 1, the free ebook. It all comes together in a total of more than $510. It's more than $513. Okay. But you guys get to try it for free. All right. So let me ask you a question, guys. If you come this far with us, congratulations. I consider you very serious. But if all this did for you was help you to do voiceovers for your church or your synagogue or a charity that you love, like the Humane Society, would it be worth it? Or, if all this did for you was help you to make an extra $2,000 or $3,000 or even $5,000 a month doing voiceovers, because people do that, would it be worth it? Or, if all this did was allow you to finally quit your day job, would it be worth it? Well, obviously the answer is yes. So what I'd like you to do is just go to VoiceOverClub.com/special or click on the link that I put in the chat box and just sign yourself up and check it out. See if it's nice, right? See if you like it. See if it makes sense. If it's, like a nice continuation from what we're doing here, right? Bonus number 2, then, when you try this, is interview with the 7-figure voice actors. Terry Daniel, our co-founder, did interviews with these people who they work on the East and West Coast. They make at least $1 million a year doing voiceovers. And they're really, it's helpful interviews to help you kind of orient yourself to the mindset that it takes to be super successful. So this is a $70 value. We're going to give you that too, is throw it in as a bonus here. So when you try VoiceOver Club. So again, what you're going to get when you try VoiceOver Club today is module number 1, script delivery, a $97 value. Everything you need to know about how to approach, interpret a script. Module number 2 is recording. Everything from the most basic, getting started, configuring your computer and all that, up to more advanced recording techniques where you can do editing and effects, add in music, sound beds, charge your clients more for. So that's a $97 value. Module number 3 is auditioning. It's what you need to do when you go out and start auditioning. But more importantly, really what it is what you need to not do, what not to do when you're out auditioning. Super important to know this, because that's how you set yourself apart from the competition. People make all kinds of rookie mistakes all the time. We don't want you to do that. We're going to show you how to really do it the right way so that you're going to have much more likely chances of success. Module number 4 is marketing yourself. Okay. And we didn't talk a lot about that, but it is a part of any business. If you think about, if I started a lawn care business, for example, it's a good example. All I need is the lawnmower. I need a weed whacker and a blower and maybe a rake. Okay. And I can put it in the trunk of my car and I'm ready. Like Donovan's lawn care business. Well, people aren't going to start knocking my door down, right? They're not going to, hey, mow my lawn. Here's some money. The reason is you got to promote yourself. They don't know that you're available, right? You got to go out and put up some flyers and put an ad in the local paper and maybe put up a Facebook page and put something on the side of your car so that people know. And that's how you grow your business, is by marketing yourself. And we do the same thing as voice actors. What do you put on your Facebook page? Do you need a website? How do you send out your demo? Where do you send it, right? The marketing yourself module has a lot of great nuggets for doing that and using the internet, which is the big game changer here. So that's a $97 value. Module number 5 is making money. One of the things we're going to give you today for trying VoiceOver Club is just a rate card you can download. It's a PDF in the making money module. And basically a rate card is like a menu of what you're going to charge. So you can say, I'm this much for 30 seconds of voiceover. I'm this much for 60 seconds. And then I'm this much per word after that. It's a great starting point for you so that you know what to say when people ask you, what do you charge? Bonus number 1 is that free ebook, How to Record Voiceovers from Your Home Computer. It's a $29 value. Bonus number 2 is the expert interviews with people who make $1 million or more per year doing voiceovers. So now we're at total value of $659. Again, you get it all totally free, absolutely free for 7 days. And you can see here, we've got rave reviews from some of our members that we've been training since 2009. We'd like you to just join the club and basically get access to this kind of great information. Now, I'm going to tell you about that. For those of you who are cool enough to still be here, thank you. You get access. Bonus number 3 when you sign up is a free voiceover evaluation with yours truly. Okay, this is a $75 value, and I can only do it for the special people who are here. And so when you try VoiceOver Club, I'm going to give you a free voiceover evaluation. We'll show you in the members area how and where to submit a voiceover, and I will give you a written voiceover evaluation. And we just find that people get value out of this because it's an opportunity to just dip your toe in the water, get some feedback, right? Just to start that process. And so this is for you guys only, all right? And You got to take advantage of it today. Go to VoiceOverClub.com/special or click on the link in the chat box window and sign yourself up. Don't miss out. One more time, all right? We're going to tell you what you get today. I want to make sure everybody gets this. Module number 1 is script delivery, okay? Everything you need to know about how to approach and interpret a script. Module number 2 is going to be the recording, how to get started recording, how to more advanced recording stuff. It's step-by-step, A through Z, slow, pace, at your own pace, in your home. Learn it gradually. Learn how to send MP3s, create and send MP3s. Good stuff. Module number 3 is auditioning. Let's be honest, guys. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and it's growing rapidly. It's competitive. There's competition. It doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to get a job in a good restaurant, if you want to be a dental hygienist, you want to start a lawn care, but it's just competitive. So you have to be able to set yourself apart from the competition. There has to be a way to differentiate yourself. And one of those ways is through professionalism. Being a professional and showing up and doing excellent work is part of that. And the auditioning module is part of helping you to understand that, the way you approach stuff. Give me a second. I need a drink. So that module is going to help you with that. Module number 4 is marketing. Okay. What do you put on your Facebook page? Do you know, like, when do you need a website? These are really, they're important and curious things. Like, how do you use email correctly? Marketing is my favorite thing. And there's a saying, if you catch a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And I think that's what the marketing module is. It's that axiom. So that's a great module. Making money module number 5. Here's another tip that we teach people in the making money module: how to negotiate your rates. If somebody says to you, well, what do you charge? What if you said, well, what's your budget? If you do that, now they have to play their card. They got to say what they want to spend. Well, we don't want to spend more than $300. You're like, okay, I could probably do that for $250. Now they're happy. You're going to get over $200 for the gig, and you've effectively negotiated your rate for what you're doing, and it makes a difference the way that you communicate. So this kind of training really makes a difference for you in learning your voiceover kung fu. Then you get the free ebook, you get the expert interviews, and you get the free voiceover evaluation. So we're over $730 in value now. Okay. When you try VoiceOver Club, you can say goodbye to your fears about getting started. Finally, right? We're going to take you by the hand and walk you step by step through everything, so you don't have to worry. Okay. Now, if you were to try and learn this all on your own, like Amy did, it would take you years and cost you thousands. We know this. So we're trying to shortcut that now by giving you this access to the voiceover kung fu training. Okay? It's good stuff, right? Now, I'm going to give you one more bonus. Oh, my accountant says we can't keep doing this. When you try VoiceOver Club today, we're also going to give you access to our Facebook private members only group, where you can use as a platform to ask questions and get virtual coaching. And Amy is one of the, what do we call, refs in there, one of the people who, monitors it. And she'll be there to answer questions and help you. People share pictures of their studio, and, it's just a place for you to use as a resource to help guide you down your path. So we're going to give you access absolutely free just for trying VoiceOver Club today. So you have that inspiration and you're still part of that group. One more time. Okay. This is, Amy used to say that. One more time. I'm sparing her the need to turn the microphone on and do that. But I know I say it a lot of times here. I just want to make sure everybody understands what they get. And I'm going to talk about what this costs in just a minute. But when you try VoiceOver Club today, you're going to get 7 days of unlimited access to everything you see here: script delivery, recording, auditioning, marketing, making money, the free ebook, the expert interviews, free voiceover evaluation from yours truly, access to the Facebook private members only group. This is over $800 in value, guys. You're special for being here. I appreciate it. We're going to give it to you guys for 24 hours access for 7 days free. Okay, this is a limited time offer. When that countdown timer stops, you won't see this page again. All right, so it's important that you take advantage of this. And then if you like VoiceOver Club after you've tried it and you've been in there and checked it all out, if you want to stay on, if you get like it's for you, we're going to give you 25% off the normal membership fee, which is $49.97 a month. We're going to give it to you guys for $37 a month. It's just a little more than $1 a day for the best voiceover training on the internet. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what we want to make available to you so that you can gradually transition from this webinar. If you've seen the light here and you're like, that's where I want to go, to, the next step is evaluating the members area and then becoming a member. And you get the discount here when you take action on this page. Now, let's talk a little bit about disposable income. It's important to understand this. If you've ever read any of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books by Robert Kiyosaki, I recommend them highly. They're bestsellers. Kiyosaki talks about what the difference between the rich and the poor and middle class teach their kids. The rich, the poor and middle class, they tend to teach their kids to spend money on stuff, okay, like shoes and Xbox games and cigarettes and going out to restaurants and things that don't really accumulate value. The rich, on the other hand, they teach their kids to invest in things that make them more money. And in education is one of those things in particular that is part of that investment. And so what we're doing today is really giving you the opportunity to take a little of your disposable income, because everybody has a little disposable income that we spend on stuff. Take a little bit of it and reinvest it in something that's going to help you to make more money. And that would be, doing voiceover training, right, for yourself, injecting yourself with that voiceover kung fu. So it's really helpful. And again, this is work for young people who are still in school. It's work for adults who want to earn more money online. And it's work for retirees who want a new career path. All right. So, there's this saying that Steve Harvey, when somebody asked him, what's the key to success? He came up, there's a video, you should YouTube it. Steve Harvey's, what do you have to do? He says, if you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There's no way around it. You have to jump. And I know Steve's talking about taking a leap of faith and doing something different. Okay. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. This is an opportunity to jump, take a low risk leap of faith and try something different. And Oprah says, when you know better, you do better. And that's what we want to help you to do, is to know better so that you can do better. So here's the tale of two people, right? The first guy's Chip. He doesn't want to get training. He doesn't want to get coaching. He just bought an expensive microphone and he's just going to wing it. And he's frustrated because he's not getting gigs. He says, this doesn't work, But then there's Brittany. And Brittany got training. She got coaching. She did a great demo. And now she's doing voiceovers for a living. So which do you want to be like? All right. So that said, I think we've come to the end of our presentation. Go to VoiceOverClub.com/special or click on this link. I will put it in the chat box window and right there. And just check it out. Try it out. Amy, you got any closing thoughts for our friends here that have made it with us? I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, the thing is, I'm nothing special, but look what I've been able to do. And I could have done it so much faster if I had had something available to me way back when, like you do right now. This wasn't around, sadly, when I was trying to figure things out. Earlier I was talking about trying to find a success roadmap. And this is your roadmap. Don't be like me, because I did things all out of order. Donovan showed the success cycle and I kind of was like throwing darts. Let's try this. Let's try that. He's right. You have to go in order. There's a process to this. And VoiceOver Club gives you a really easy to follow roadmap to success. The modules are really clear. They're laid out well. They're easy to follow. They're instructed by really quality people. It's all nice and neat and organized. And it all makes sense. It takes you step by step. And this is something that if I had had that back then, I would have saved, I don't know how much money, but a lot. And almost more importantly to me is how much time I would have saved, because I would have been able to be doing the job I always dreamed about doing so much sooner. I know this is kind of corny, but people talk about, I'm just living the dream. Well, I am living my dream. I am so fortunate to do a job that I love, that I feel in my heart, in my gut, that I was made to do. I have all sorts of flexibility with my schedule. I'm still very involved in my family and in my church. And There's time for a real life outside of work, but I'm making more money now than I've made at any other job I've ever had. And I call the shots. I mean, there's nothing better than that kind of freedom. And it's an awesome job. I love what I do. And, you have to get started someplace. Everybody has their journey. And you heard my convoluted, long way around story. And this is a much easier path to success. And this is where your story can begin. The thing is, it's 7 days for free. So to me, that's a bit of a no-brainer. Why not, look into it, see what it is. Because I think once you get into it, you're going to be like, this is what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
I always wondered, how do you do this? Well, here's how you do it.
Right.
I think you'll be excited about it because you'll know that finally you've got the tools that you need to make this happen for you. So, man, I just can't encourage you enough to just go in there and check it out.
Sure.
You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, it's the next step. It's low risk. There's no contracts. All you got to do is send us an email. There's instructions in there. Just say, hey, send us an email, support@VoiceOverClub.com. If you want to cancel at any time, it's no fuss, no muss. There's just no stress, no pressure, no risk. So take the next step, guys. We really want you to keep going in this path and find out if this is right for you. And if it is, then this is what you've been looking for. Amy, I really appreciate you being here, sweetie. It's just such a pleasure to hang out with you and laugh and have fun.
Yes, it's always fun. I love being here. Thank you.
Yeah. But go ahead and take that next step and sign up and just get in there and get moving with your voiceover training. It's possible. You're just one voiceover away from being a real voiceover artist. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the members area. Amy, thank you. Take care. And God bless everybody.
Thanks. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.